Neon Genesis Evangelion is a masterpiece of an anime with an amazing and clear story spanning over 26 episodes, 7 movies, which is just a more clear retelling of the original series, 4 rebuilds, which is just a retelling of the... Okay, so ignoring the mindfuck that is the story of Evangelion, this anime is a classic with stunning visuals, amazing character building, the underlying sexualization of minors, and of course, one of the most iconic anime openings of all time, which I can't show to you for copyright reasons, so you'll just have to trust me. Oh, and the ending song is Fly Me to the Moon by Frank Sinatra. Overall, this anime is great and it explores the concepts of depression, depersonalization, alcoholism, and the human psyche overall. And considering this anime came out in 1997, that's a huge deal. However, I'm not here to talk about a mentally depressed teen or a horny alcoholic or even this. No, in today's video, I'm going to be talking about my favorite anime character of all time, Rei Ayanami. Rei Ayanami is among the 3 main Eva pilots that we see in the show. Sharing screen time with Shinji Ikari and Asuka Langley, Rei's relationship with Shinji evolves throughout the series as they are both emotionally vulnerable and gain a sense of understanding. They share moments of quiet connection and they share their feelings of piloting the Evas together. To Shinji, Rei is the only relative he's shown being close with, and this leads to a calming and empathetic relationship between the two. Rei's influence on Shinji allows him to confront his own vulnerabilities and grow as a character. On the other hand, Rei's interactions with Asuka are shown through an intense rivalry and a contrasting dynamic. Asuka views Rei as a rival and someone who challenges her position as an Eva pilot. This results in Asuka gaining a resentment that stays throughout the series. Rei's emotional detachment from the world around her clashes with Asuka's passionate and forward personality, and this leads to a lack of emotional understanding between the two characters. Rei's character is portrayed as more silent and mysterious, with her character having much less dialogue, and with her biggest scene being the reveal that she is in fact a clone. She is introverted and emotionally distant, and we can see that when Shinji visits her home. In her home, she lives a very mundane life and detaches herself from human experiences. Rei's home is barren and looks more like an abandoned factory than something that you would call a home. Rei's home is a perfect reflection of her character's personality. It's isolated, and the factory setting links to the idea of being an object and being part of an assembly line. And let's not forget the ambience that plays in her home. It's depressing to think that she spent so many of her years and her youth in this home with no decorations and just listening to this sound all day. On the other hand, her character in the Rebuild series gives her a much brighter spotlight and makes her personality shine a lot more. As the story progresses, we get to see Rei's character arc culminate in these moments of transformation and resolution, with her choices and actions contributing to the narrative and themes of the movies themselves. We get to see Rei Q, the unnumbered Rei Ayanami, and we get to see a lot more of her backstory, showing us a more emotive and emotional side to Rei. This is good because it allows for the audience to get a much deeper exploration of Rei as a character, while also allowing Rei to explore her own purpose and her impact of the world. Rei is characterized by her emotional detachment, introversion, and her stoic nature. Despite everything that happens during Neon Genesis Evangelion, she rarely shows her emotions or any interest in social interactions, and when she does, they are often short and inexpressive. This makes it really challenging for both the characters in the show and the audience at home to truly have a connection with Rei. However, it also allows for the viewers to develop a depiction of a character who experiences difficulties in forming and expressing their own emotions. Like many of us throughout the show, Rei struggles with her identity and her place in the universe. She questions her existence and grapples with her sense of self, experiencing moments where she is disconnected from her own body. Being a vessel in the form of a clone, one of Rei's struggles comes to her lack of authenticity and how she is used merely for other people's purposes. This viewpoint and these feelings connect with a modern audience, especially considering the disconnect in today's world. Technology and virtual interactions heavily contribute to the feeling of being emotionally disconnected. This ends up leaving many people with a sense of detachment from real-world interactions. With Rei's purpose being to pilot an Eva, her emotional detachment is an exploration of the emotional disconnect that arises from digital interactions, as well as the challenge of forming authentic emotional connections in a world driven by technology. Furthermore, her character's battle with depersonalization does open the topic of mental health and allows the audience to reflect on their own psychological well-being. Today, mental health is more talked about than ever, and understanding one's emotions is a struggle that many teenagers and adults face. Through Rei's identity issues and his struggles with depersonalization, it does offer a platform for viewers to engage with their character as well as their own lives, and can even allow the audience to try to understand their own emotions. And I think this makes Rei's character unique in the fact that due to her emotional isolation, she is the only character in the show who can carry the burden as big as hers. Her duties as an Ava pilot and her role in the Human Instrumentality Project make her a character who carries a deep burden, as she is solely responsible for the world's fate. She understands the plan in place by both Gendo and Seal, and she understands the consequences and implications that await humanity itself. Due to this, Rei often struggles with the concepts of self-sacrifice, willingly putting herself in harm's way as an Ava pilot and risking her own well-being for the cause. Her emotional detachment allows for her to approach battles with both objectivity and calmness, while also allowing her to separate herself from overwhelming emotions. Throughout the series, Rei undergoes a personal growth and evolves from a passive figure who questions her existence to a character that challenges her role that has been predetermined for her. She attempts to take control over her life, which in turn demonstrates her emotional resilience, as well as her capacity to carry the burden of responsibility. The challenges that Rei faces do link to the theme of collectivism. The notion of sacrificing personal desires for the greater good is a theme that is apparent throughout the series, with Rei being the biggest contributor. Her deep sense of loyalty to Gendo Ikari and her ability to follow orders without question do relate to the Japanese mindset when it comes to work and following the demands of the government and bosses above. In otaku culture, Rei's stoic and introverted demeanour resonates with the otaku culture of Japan, as well as those who are socially withdrawn or introverted. Her popularity stems from the cultural recognition and acceptance of those who feel disconnected or isolated from social norms. Rei's character also shares the traditional Japanese archetype of Yamato Nadeshiko. This refers to an idealized image of the Japanese woman, which is essentially represented by qualities of grace, loyalty, and a strong sense of duty to both family and society. Already we can see the comparison when looking at Rei's loyalty and obedience to Gendo, as well as when she fills her role as an Ava pilot. However, we can also see this through her physical appearance too. With her pale skin complexity, bright blue hair, and crimson red eyes, Rei embodies an otherworldly and ethereal quality which resonates with Yamato Nadeshiko. Furthermore, while her clothing is simple, this reflects the Japanese preference for both modesty and simplicity in dressing. In the Neon Genesis Evangelion rebuild, however, say that 5 times, Rei's character is built upon, leading her to deviate from the archetype in notable ways. A prime example of this can be seen through Rei's emotional detachment, as the Yamato Nadeshiko is portrayed as being emotionally connected as well as nurturing. Whereas it can be argued that Rei shows nurturing qualities towards Shinji, her character is emotionally detached and struggles to express her emotions.
I don't know what to tell you.
You Japanese, always so evasive. Just tell me what you think of him!
It's hard to say, but I feel all warm and fuzzy inside when I'm with him. So that's why I want Shinji to feel warm and fuzzy too.
Also, while the Yamato Nadeshiko archetype does emphasize adherence to social expectations, Rei is a clone, and her involvement with the Human Instrumentality Project make her unconventional to represent the traditional Japanese woman. In conclusion, Rei Ayanami's character in Neon Genesis Evangelion and anime is one of, if not the best written character of all time. While the anime industry has produced countless memorable characters over the years, Rei's unique qualities and impact on the industry continues to resonate with audience to this day. Her portrayal as a character has challenged the traditional archetypes and paved the way for more psychologically complex characters that we see in modern anime today. Her character delves into the themes of depression, depersonalization, and existentialism, all of which are very relevant and present in modern day storytelling. She captures the complexities of emotional detachment, identity struggles, and the weight of responsibility, and through the course of the series we see her navigate through the challenges of her existence. Her character resonates with elements of Japanese culture and the value of emotional stoicism, while also reflecting the mindset of sacrificing personal desires for a higher power. Rei as a character is a breath of fresh air, and her cultural significance makes her not only a captivating and enduring figure in the world of anime, but one of the most integral pieces of anime history. I've been Munka, and thank you for watching.